You sold Petey to the blind kid? What's going on, TFA Fam? Hope you're all doing well. We are going to continue the little sleeper positional thing we have going on here. We're going to finish with tight ends. Kev, let's start it off. I think what we're going to do, because of the way that the tight end position is, it's a onesie position. There's so many good options that we have. What we're going to do, we're going to give one each, and then we're just going to get into a little open discussion. So, Kev, who is your top tight end sleeper for 2020?
All right, so for me, it's pretty easy. I could have went a number of different ways here in terms of late round tight ends, because we've kind of talked about this, but there's a lot of guys here, at least more so this year than we kind of have in years past, where we feel really good about a lot of these guys. But for me, the number one guy for me is Jonnu Smith, who's been a pretty hot name over the offseason for a lot of people, but I've been on him all offseason. I think he has top 5 potential, and right now he's going in at tight end 17. Like, I don't get it. His ADP still has not really risen. He's going in the 15th round. Like, that's way too low for him. I think that, like I said, with that top 5 upside, if you look at him last year, he did only get 11% target share, 45 targets in 2019. But on that, he had 35 receptions, 439 yards, and 3 touchdowns. If you look at his efficiency numbers, there's lots of like there. He was actually number 2 in yards per target and number 8 in yards per reception among tight ends. He was number 2 in target separation with 2.4 yards of target separation. I think with this offense, this year is going to be one that's going to have to throw the ball a little bit more. I don't think they're going to be in all those, great game scripts where they're going to be able to just pound the rock 35 times a game, because they were 30th in pass attempts per game last year. I know that is some people's issue with Jonnu this year is the volume going to be there? Is he going to be able to get to that 80, 90 target mark? And I think that it is. I feel pretty confident with him. I think there's even room for him to go a little bit past that. But if he does, he is such an explosive tight end. He's 88th percentile 40-yard dash, his 94th percentile burst score. He has an 84th percentile speed score. He's still only 25, just turned 25 years old, 6'3", 250. Absolutely love Jonnu. So, with all those things, like I said, and I also think that he's probably the number 2 target here in this on this offense behind AJ Brown. Corey Davis is still there, but I'm not really worried about him. So I think there's a lot to like here with Jonnu, and he's going to get a lot of he's going to be very involved inside the red zone as well. I think it was last year, the Titans threw to their tight end position more than any other position, or more than any other team in the league inside the red zone. So I think that's also another positive for Jonnu as well. So like I said, I think it's wheels up for Jonnu Smith in 2020, and going in the 17th round, getting him there is absolutely ridiculous. I would feel more than fine taking him in the 11th, 12th round. If not a little bit higher than that. So it's wheels up for Jonnu.
I'm also going to go on the route of, if you've been listening, you're not going to be surprised by my answer either, and that is Jets tight end Chris Herndon. Once you guys finish up with this video, you can go ahead and search our YouTube channel. I did a whole video on him. It's about 5 minutes long, and just kind of really going into detail on why I like him so much. But the long story short, the TLDR is, who is Sam Darnold going to throw to? It's going to be a trash defense. They're going to be a negative game script the whole time. And it's Crowder and that's it. That pauses to be dramatic, because I was giving you guys time to think, because there is nobody else. If you look at what Herndon did, going back to his rookie season, last year was just it was a lost season for him. Started off with a 4-game suspension. Didn't get on the field until week 10, I think, because he had an injury. And then once he did get on the field, he had less than 20 snaps, and then he ended up on the IR after that because of a rib injury. If you go back to 2018 and his rookie season and just look what he has done as a rookie playing the tight end position since 2000, I believe, he's only one of 13 tight ends in their rookie season to record 500 receiving yards. If you look at what he did fantasy-wise in his rookie season in 2018, once the Jets got him more involved in terms of targeting him more regularly and his snaps being at a higher percentage, from weeks 6 to 16, he was tight end 6 during that stretch. So again, it's Jamison Crowder, it's the Le'Veon Bell, and then it's going to be Herndon. The volume is absolutely going to be there. They're going to be passing. They're going to have to pass a ton. Even with the revamped offensive line, that's not going to be anywhere near enough to keep them in games. Obviously, Jamal was traded. CJ Mosley opted out, one of their stud linebackers. So there's really nothing that's going to be holding that team together. And even before all of those changes happened, according to Sharp Football Stats, the Jets had the third most difficult schedule for the 2020 season. So the volume is going to be there. We always want to chase volume across all positions, but specifically with the tight end position, just because of how honestly that it's a low bar to have a tight end one season, right? You basically need 50 catches, 500 yards, and like 5 touchdowns is the average over the past couple of seasons to slide into that tight end one range, and that's well within Herndon's range of outcomes. Like I said, he already put up that 500-yard season as a rookie. Early reports in camp is he's been looking good. He's been making plays every single practice, every single scrimmage and camp they've been having. So for me, it's super easy, and that is going to be Chris Herndon for my favorite tight end sleeper. Kev, let's open up this discussion. Let's just throw out a couple more names because, like I said, it kind of seems like the tight end position is not the absolute graveyard that it used to be in years past. There are some exciting options if you're not going to spend that early capital on any of the top 4, with Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews, and Ertz all going in the top 4 rounds. Who are you looking at after that as a potential sleeper or as a value?
Yeah, I think there's a couple guys. This has kind of been the theme of the offseason here with this tight end position, is that it's not as nasty as in years past. I think you have guys like Hayden Hurst, who is heading on to Atlanta, that a lot of people like. He's going a little higher than I'd want to take him, going in the 8th round. I know there's a lot of people like him, but I have some concerns that is he really going to step right into this offense and command the same target share that Austin Hooper has. Speaking of Austin Hooper, all reports out of Cleveland, it has been the Austin Hooper show in Cleveland so far. So I think a lot of people have been down on him. I've noticed his ADP has started to rise back up and started to come back up because a lot of people were pretty down on him, and he was starting to fall as like the 13th, 14th tight end. He is now rebound back to the tight end 12 in the 9th round. I don't really have a problem with taking him there. I still like Austin Hooper. I think Austin Hooper is better than people give him credit for. People were talking about him as a product of the offense. Is this offense going to be as high volume as Atlanta? Absolutely not. But I think that he can be a red zone threat and somebody that this team can rely on. I think expecting 6 to 8 targets per week, I think is very fair for him. And I don't really have a problem with that. So if you want to get your hands on some Austin Hooper. But these later round guys for me, it's Mike Gesicki, it's TJ Hawkinson, like we already mentioned with Jonnu, Blake Jarwin. I think all those guys are guys that I would all be looking at. Gesicki's going almost in the 11th round. Hawkinson's going 11:06, and then Jarwin's going 14:02. But Blake Jarwin's another guy that you can go and watch another video that Robbie Jeffries did on him, that he is very, very high on Blake Jarwin and states his case for him. So I'll talk about Mike Gesicki. Like, Mike Gesicki is a terrific, terrific athlete. Like, he is about 95 percentile and above on every metric you could have, in every workout metric. He has 96 percentile speed score, 99th percentile burst score, 99th percentile agility score, 100th percentile catch radius. Like, the dude's an absolute monster. Was drafted in the 2nd round out of Penn State. I think Cody likes Penn State. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, but if you look at him last year, he was 89. His 89 targets was 7th in the league, 15.3 target share. He had 51 receptions, 570 yards, and 5 total touchdowns. He did only average 9.1 fantasy points per game, but he almost finishes a tight end 1. There's a lot to like about Mike Gesicki. He really started to come on in the second half of the season, where he had starting in week 12, 11.8, 18.9. And then he had a couple down weeks, 1.6, 8.7. And then week 16, 26.2 against the Bengals, 13.4 week 17. So he really started to come on in the second half of the season. And I think, year 3 breakout for Mike Gesicki, or a full breakout, I think is certainly a range of possibilities. So for me, it's him, it's Hawkinson. The only thing that does concern me with Hawkinson, year 2 is he going to be the number 3 target in this offense behind Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay? But I think he is somebody that's going to see heavy red zone usage as well, see plenty of end zone targets. So Last year he was on pace for a 16-game pace, would have been 43 receptions, 490 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Not great, but considering he was a rookie, that's fantastic. Most rookie tight ends really struggle or don't even get on the field. So he was a first-round pick last year for the Detroit Lions. I think he's going to be more involved this year. I think somewhere in the range of 50 receptions, 700 yards, and 8 touchdowns, which would make him a tight end 1. I think it's definitely in the range of possibilities for him. So I really like Hawkinson, and then like I said, Jonnu, and then Blake Jarwin.
Yeah, Hawkinson was going to be my guy. You already touched on him, so I'm just going to throw out 2 other names real quickly here. Eric Ebron is someone who I'm at least interested in. There's no need to draft him, but he's somebody who I'd be keeping an eye on, especially if you're going to go the tight end streaming route. Word out of Pittsburgh early is that he's been making plays. They've been using him in the red zone. One of the beat reports came out and said that he does not like to block, and that is very evident, but we don't care about that for fantasy purposes. And they really, outside of, I guess, Chase Claypool, if you want to throw a rookie into that kind of situation and that kind of role, they don't really have a true red zone threat. So Eric Ebron could definitely step into that. And like I said, you need just 5 to 6 touchdowns, 5 to 7 touchdowns in order to slide into that tight end 1 conversation. He's currently going at tight end 18 at 1309. And the other one, just from all of the training camp reports that we've been following and putting out in the tweet threads and the podcast, OJ Howard. I'm not sure exactly how much volume is going to be going around in order to make him a tight end 1, but at a tight end 22 price at 1508, he really doesn't have to do a lot in order to pay that off. And again, someone you're not going to have to draft, but someone to definitely keep your eye on and keep in the back of your mind as far as a tight end streamer when you're looking at the waiver wire. Apparently, he's looking like a completely different player. He's coming in with confidence. He's been really working with Gronk and Brady and even Arians, who he was obviously in his doghouse last year. Arians has come out and said that he looks like a completely different player, and he really likes the progress that he's been making, just in terms of getting the playbook down and playing with confidence and looking like he has a handle on the offense. So, like I said, there are a lot of guys to like this year. Noah Fant is someone as well, especially in what seems to be what is trending toward a high-powered offense with Sutton and Judy. Fant can easily slide in there. And again, the tight end 1 bar is not a high bar to hit. So you really don't need a massive performance. But Noah Fant is going right outside of that. And it wouldn't surprise me if he finishes a tight end 1 this year either. Dallas Goedert, obviously, if anything happens to Zach Ertz, and even if something does not happen to him, we saw what Dallas Goedert was able to do with an expanded role last year. So all those guys are definitely fantasy viable. And like we were just saying, the tight end landscape is looking a lot better than what we have been used to in years past. So let us know who you guys are targeting for your tight end sleepers. If you're going to go early, if you're going to go late, let us know what your plans are for drafts and how your mocks have been working out. And if you've done a draft, we would love to hear from you guys. So drop a comment, hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Drop your comments here in the YouTube channel if you're rocking with us there. And we will be hitting you guys with new content very soon.